Joining me is Tim from the Eye of Horus.
Hey, hail Satan, everybody! I'm super
Yes.
psyched for
Hail
this episode.
Satan. I'm glad one of us is. Cat wasn't. Cat's like, oh, I'm out and about. I'm too busy. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's Cat for you. Getting some.
I'm not using Skype on my phone. That's for peasants.
Yeah, getting some time outside in the fresh air is obviously more important to him than talking some dank memes with us, obviously.
Yeah, and then he went on like a 40-minute anti-Semitic rant about like the Jews and Hitler having rockets on the moon. It's he's just lost it, man.
Child sex slaves on Mars and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Warning, may not have happened. Yeah, no. So what have you been up to, Tim?
Yeah, the only racists are on Bell of Lost Souls, I hear.
Ooh, snap.
Starting early? We're not starting yet? Okay, alright. Let's talk about what we've been doing first. And then we'll get into some fucking clickbait fucking character assassination shit. What have I been doing? I dug out my 2nd edition 40k shit. Because Michael and I are going to play a game of 2nd edition 30k tomorrow. 2nd edition 30k. Ooh. That's right. Because we're both adults, like we haven't fucking done any like custom lists or any shit. We haven't like we're not like vetting lists and all that sort of stuff. I'm making a Mechanicum list just from the Black Codex. The one that the good old school one that came with the box set back in whenever the fuck that came out, 90. When did 2nd edition come out? 95? 94?
I think it was 90. No, it was earlier. It was like 92, 93, something like that.
Shit. Jesus. Well, whenever the hell it came out.
I think it was like 5 years after Rogue Trader, so.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm using that Black Codex list, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's the only thing that has Mechanicum shit in it. And the only Mechanicum units are the Magos. There's like 3 different levels of Magos. There's servitor herds, so you can have between 5 and 10 servitors, and they come with like lasguns or shotguns. You can upgrade them all to have, any of them to have melter guns as well. So you could have just like 20 servitors with melter guns, which is pretty fucking wacky. And then there's a tech priest unit, and there's electro priests. And then, yeah, basically just like the vehicle section and the support weapon section. So the army that I'm taking is a Magos with a, I've taken the Power Field Wargear card, the one that was like a 2+ invulnerable save against shooting, but it didn't work in close combat, and it made you encumbered, so you're neg 1 weapon skill in close combat. And then I've taken the Graviton gun, which is fucking awesome. He basically like puts down a template, and anything that it touches just can't move for the rest of the game. And vehicles, it fucks with them as well. So I'm hoping to do some shenanigans there. And what else has he got? A bionic eye as well. So he's like ballistic skill 7. So he's just like, yeah, I better shoot shit real good with my fucking graviton gun. And then I took like the way the fucking percentages and shit worked in that game was sort of, you had to take, it was 25 to 50% as troops or your basic units, but I mean everything was just crammed in there, so you had elites and all sorts of shit sort of jammed in that. So my basic infantry, I'll say, I've got like 2 units of 15 servitors with lasguns, a unit of 15 servitors with shotguns. I've got an engine seer who's joining each one of those units, and they've all got rad grenades. The way rad grenades used to work is fucking apeshit too. So basically you'd throw a grenade, you could throw a rad grenade, you could target the ground, and then what you'd do is you'd roll a d3, and then you'd secretly write 1 to 3 underneath it, and that was the range that the rad grenade had. So you could target the ground, lay them down, to choke off points, that sort of thing. And any unit that moved within range.
There's a lot of that in 2nd ed.
Yeah.
Like a lot of writing down shit as notes and then revealing it later.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mole machine, all sorts of shit like that. Yeah. So you would you'd put all those templates down, and then once someone came close, you would say, "Oh, you're within 1 inch of my template. You now get hit by a rad grenade." And the old rad grenade rules are basically you would just take a strength D4 plus D6 strength hit, so it's anywhere between strength 2 and strength 10. Just like eat shit, boom. If you take a strength 10 hit, it's like, is that fucking -7 to your armor save, so it can just fuck Terminators. and that sort of thing up as well. So I'm hoping to my fucking prize strat. Hopefully Michael won't hear this before I get to try it out. But that's my prize strat: is use a graviton imploder. Oh, sorry, the graviton gun to like immobilize some Terminators or whatever the fuck, like in an area, and then just like piff some fucking rag grenades in there, so they're just like, we're stuck here, just being irradiated every turn. I wanted to put a stasis grenade in as well, but I ran out of points because it can just stasis bomb people and then heavily irradiate it as well. It's a pretty sick trick. And then I've got a unit of tech priests. So the tech priest unit's really fucking crazy. It's basically 5 to 20 just basic human stat tech priests, but all of them can take special weapons. So I've given them all sniper rifles, like the old needle sniper rifles, which basically you just roll to hit and then they auto wounded. So just basically roll to hit, take your armor saves, fucking take away the dead. So that should be fucking fun. And then I've got a unit of 6 servitors who are manning 3 tarantulas, twin link lascannon tarantulas, and then I've got a land raider, which I've swapped out their twin linked heavy bolters for a conversion beamer. So the old school conversion beamer rules are pretty wacky too, even more complicated than the 30k conversion beamer rules, if you can imagine such a thing. But yeah, fucking should be pretty exciting. I have no idea what he's gonna run. I'm imagining Terminators of some description. Because
when you got a 3+ armor save on 2d6,
yeah, that's why I've got the tarantulas in there with the lascannons, just like
especially if he's got assault cannons.
I don't think
assault cannons in second ed are just basically roll for anal circumference because they will penetrate.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think he does actually. I think he's got a unit of 5. Tartarus Terminators that he almost never uses in his Imperial Fists. But I'm pretty sure they don't have an assault cannon. I think they've got a heavy flamer, maybe. Oh shit, I hope they don't have an assault cannon. That's savage as shit. But I know he's definitely taking Tommy.
Well, unlike regular 30k, regular 40k second ed, there's no like split weapons in units. There's not going to be like a mixture of heavy weapons. So you're not going to be suffering like the movement penalties.
Yeah. Well, back in second ed, you had your heavy weapon team guys could. Oh no, that was Imperial Guard, wasn't it? They could split off the heavy weapon team. Yeah, but they can shoot at separate shit though.
Whereas because I remember like running my Chaos Space Marines and having like an autocannon in the squad, which is actually really fucking good in second edition. Yeah. It's a fucking main battle tank gun.
Yeah.
It's not like a pew gun like it is now.
Yeah.
Where it's just a heavy bolter with less shots and a bit higher strength. Back then it was like I think it was 2-inch blast.
No, I don't.
So had the final point where the shot landed, and you measured 2 inches circle around that.
Yeah, was it autocannon? I think autocannon was just like it was a sustained fire dice, but it did D6 damage. Because I remember I'd always shoot Michael's fucking stupid avatar thing apart with like a single blast from like a Reaper autocannon. Because it was like 2 autocannons.
I think it was heavy bolter was sustained fire dice.
Yeah, autocannon was too. So heavy bolter was 2 sustained fire dice, and then an autocannon was 1. So you still had a chance of jamming, but like if you hit
the
it,
assault cannon was like
strength
3.
7d6 damage. Yeah, there was 3. Yeah, and if you rolled 3 jams, then it exploded. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you didn't roll 3 jams, you usually just violated whatever you shot at.
Yeah.
Same as vortex grenades. I had bad experiences. Older mates running autarks. They just like jump back in and then just throw a vortex nade, and then bam, there goes like half your army.
Dude, that was Michael's fucking number 1 strat, was a swooping hawk XR.
Oh, of course it was.
24-inch
fucking
jump.
Cheese fest.
And then he threw a grad grenade. Vortex grenade. Yeah, like there was 2 games where he jumped in, he rolled a 1 to hit, and then you scatter it off yourself and just vaporized his own dude. And the second time he did it, we were at his mum's house, because back then we were playing in like his kitchen. In his mum's house. He just basically got the model and was just like, fuck you, and just turned around and just fucking full scale baseball pitch threw it into it, just across the fucking kitchen, just straight into the door of his mum's microwave, and just put this huge fucking dent in the microwave, because it was like a fucking old, like a, the soft, super heavy fucking 50% lead model. It's fucking hilarious. That was back before we painted everything, obviously. So it's gonna that's what's gonna be so good is like now, because back in the 90s and shit when we were playing, second ed, like none of our shit was painted, you know, like we might paint a few models, that's the thing, but it was never fully painted. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is like now we have the fucking models, we've got fully painted shit, we've got fully painted terrain, and we can go and like play a fucking game that's gonna look shit hot, as well as like, you know, to go back and use those old second edition rules. We're just gonna stay out of close combat, basically. That's the number one rule to that game, is just don't get squad on squad combat, because you've got to roll like, it just becomes so fucking ridiculous because you've got, you know, like multiple models and
down.
yeah exactly. So I do have like, what's that, 40, like over 60 70 models, something like that, but I'm just hoping hopefully we'll just shoot each other to death. That's what I'm hoping for, and the massed combat thing won't come into it, but yeah, it should be good. Obviously, it's a bit limited. The Mechanicum's obviously a bit limited because, like I said, Electro Priests, Servitors, which obviously I think Thralls are. I'm going to use my Thralls as the Servitors, and Tech Priests are pretty much the only thing in the list. So, I went back and looked in Rogue Trader just to see if I could find some fucking crazy rules for robots or something like that. But you know, it's pretty threadbare. So, you know, it'd be good to play some old school games. And it means, you know, like we don't have to play 7th or 8th ed 40k, because apparently both of those are terrible, according to people on the internet.
Well, you know, 8th edition is basically the future.
That's right. If you're not 8th ed, you're dying. So what have you been up to? You've been painting some shit. I saw you made some cool Necromunda shit.
Yeah, worked on the Necromunda Zench cultists, which is fun. Because I've given them like the Silver Tower Chiaric Acolyte heads.
Yeah, the
so
Birdman
like the
heads,
Birdman,
yeah.
Which is pretty cool. They all had to go in like a fancy dress or something. Masquerade ball. I'm trying to think which movie had the best worst masquerade ball.
Well, obviously, Eyes Wide Shut.
The Three Musketeers, Man in the Iron Mask.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Van Helsing.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, yeah, no. Eyes Wide Shut at least had the orgy.
Yeah. Oh, what about the fucking, the Three Musketeers, the latest one that they made with Mads Mikkelsen? And, like, they had all these cool actors, like Ray Stevenson, Mads Mikkelsen, but then they just fucking went with, like, flying ships. Remember that? Orlando Bloom was playing, was it Buckingham?
The director's a potato.
Which director was it?
And to think that director was married to Mila Jovovich. Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, okay. Man, that movie, like...
The same dude that did the movie AVP, although he did do one good movie.
Which one?
If I'm remembering correctly, he was Event Horizon.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely that's like a fucking classic film. But yeah, like, man, it's like, I'm pretty sure Orlando Bloom was an executive producer or something on that movie. I reckon they were just like, hey, Orlando, what do we have to pay you to fucking be in this movie? And he's just like, well, I'll take a cut of the earnings, and also I want to have a flying ship. And they're like, this is Three Musketeers, have you heard? Like, you know, it's like set, and he's like, yeah, but I'm really into like flying galleons and shit, man, so... yeah, I want to be in a flying galleon. And then just fast forward to the first scene where he arrives in a flying galleon and just lands it and goes, yeah, over in the UK, we got flying galleons, we got fucking steampunk cannons.
I totally would have been okay with that if it made any fucking practical sense.
What do you mean a flying ship doesn't make practical sense?
You don't need Da Vinci to design that. Like, that is too down to earth. Like, you look at like Da Vinci's design for like a tank or an aeroplane and how different it is to like what we ended up with as a tank or an aeroplane.
Yeah.
And then like you look at the fucking Three Musketeers and shit, and you look at their fucking galleons, and they're like full on fucking 1,000-tonner 3-decker man of wars with a balloon tied to it. It's like, that's not how physics works.
What about when like they throw D'Artagnan over the side and he like just and he just washes up on the shore? Like, you can't just throw someone out of a flying ship and they just wash up totally fine, like on a beach, bro. Like, ugh. I guess this isn't
the water is renowned for its terrible surface tension.
How high are they flying? Or are they just flying like 10 meters above the ground or something? Or above the
a few
ocean?
hundred meters up, probably high enough to hit terminal velocity. Still, it fucking hurts when you jump like 10, 15 meters into water.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I've fucking parachuted into water. I've fucking jumped off cliffs into water, and I've landed on my ass first, jumping off into water once.
Yeah.
That fucking hurt.
Oh, we've all belly flipped into a pool. Well, at least everyone who's an Australian has. Like, fucking it hurts like a motherfucker. Imagine being
straight
unconscious.
On sunburn as well.
Yeah, within 20 minutes of having your lunch as well. So you know, but yeah, it's imagine being unconscious and belly flop, like just being tossed like belly flop into the English Channel or where I'm presuming that's where he was being thrown.
Yeah, that was. And then at the end, they got like the airships and traditional fleet of ships below them. It's like, shouldn't they be made of like balsa wood or being like heaps thin, or maybe they shouldn't have had 100 iron cannons on board?
Yeah,
just anything to reduce the weight just a little. Like, if instead of going with like, and the other thing is like ships changed a lot in their style between Da Vinci's time and when the Three Musketeers is set, which is in the reign of Louis XIV, the Sun King. So you're talking like the mid to sort of late 1600s, compared to Da Vinci, who's alive in like the mid 1500s. Why is he drawing ships that were designed a century later in his plans?
Yeah.
Like, it would have been cooler if those galleons had like his weird screw. You know how like the helicopter and it's like a screw on top?
Yeah, the weird like UFO looking thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like that would have been neater, but whatever. Terrible fucking movie. So yeah, I've been up to that. I've also been doing a bunch of Lord of the Rings stuff. Just because I got so much Lord of the Rings shit stashed away from the strategy battle game. And I'm like, fuck, there's a new book coming out for that, the Battle Companies. I want to try it because it looks fun, because it's like a Mordheim skirmish thing, and Lord of the Rings, great place to set that because it's such a fantastic world to do that in. And I got tons of models which I like paint stripped back. Like I dropped them all in like proper enamel thinners, so it just fucking dissolved everything that's plastic or paint completely off them, and they're like pristine, like straight out of the molds in the factory. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
A pleasure to. And heaps of it's like out of production.
Hey, we've got a very special guest who's going to join us for a segment in a minute. I'll add him in. Hold on, let's just see. It's a surprise guest, Macca. I just invited a few people onto your show. I just put out the feelers. I was like, hey, Macca won't mind if like I just invite any old guy into his show. Let's see what's happening
hello?
here. Oh, hold on. It's not letting me. Oh, hey man, it's not letting me add you. Have you got the latest version of Skype?
Yeah, I just downloaded it.
Okay. You might just need to restart Skype. And
okay.
and just call, because it should let us add you straight into the call.
Wicked. Okay, I'll do that.
Right.
Okay, see you in a sec.
Cool. Bye. Oh. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
I have no idea what just fucking happened. That's weird. I just got Miles from the Age of Darkness podcast. What the hell?
Oh, how's it going, man?
Hold on, I'm just trying to add him in.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Add to group call.
Hello.
Okay, joining us, we've got Miles
Hey,
from.
how's it going, dude?
we've got Miles from Lil Legend Studio / the Age of Darkness podcast. I just invited a few people onto Macca's show without him knowing. So how's it going? How's it going, Miles?
Yeah, it's good. This is actually the first time I've ever talked to Macca as well, so it's a bit of a hell of an introduction. But the Outer Circle is one of my guilty pleasures. I love listening to your show. It feels a bit like bear baiting sometimes when you go off on a rant. But I look forward to if Games Workshop slightly fuck up a sculpt, or if they're doing something slightly unusual. I normally jump onto YouTube to see what your reaction is first.
We would never. We're very down to earth here, really.
I think a lot of your comments, it's to do with your sense of humor. I think once you start actually watching the videos, you get to know when you're joking and when you're not. If somebody just dives in to one of your videos mid-rant, I think it's very easy to take it the wrong way. But after listening, especially the Custodies, I've listened to that a few times. You just get to know when you're joking and when you're not. Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Here's the hint. Cat's never joking.
Is Cat here?
No,
No, he's not. But his personality is pretty much exactly what's on the show.
Yeah, I bet. How's his leg doing?
I pay a goon to go around there every week and give it a whack just to make sure it doesn't fully set.
Yeah. It's obviously
Keeps
not
him on his toes or off his toes.
Yeah, his leg's not fucking troubling him too much. Like at Open War when he was up here in Queensland for that, he was like wrestling with a dude on the ground, like had some guy in a headlock, like so it's just dropped his walking stick to grab the dude around the neck. So I don't think it's slowing him down too much. Plus, like he always says, I'm an infantryman. Fucking nothing can slow me down.
Sounds like a compo claim to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I could completely and utterly visualize him doing that, just wrestling some dude to the ground. Oh, you think a lame guy, or you think you think you're taller than me, you think you're bigger than me? Come on, fight me, you long ass bitch.
He's like the Rock in that Fast and the Furious movie. Like he just flexes his arm and the cast just cracks off. Was it that or G.I. Joe? Something like that. He has like this cast on. He's like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
And the cast just breaks off his arm.
Yeah, it was one of the.
Yeah, well, Macca, it's really nice to actually talk. Sorry, Macca's really nice to talk to you. It's really thank you for having me on. It's great to finally meet the man with the mic.
Yeah, no, welcome to come on, man. We always love having guests on here. So Tim always comes and gives us a hand, gives us a chop out when we don't have enough people. It's because eventually me talking to myself gets a bit boring.
yeah, you do feel a bit like a serial killer after a while. I remember Greg on the Imperial Truth, he went, well, just solo hosting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a bitch. And when Cat got injured, it was sort of like all me at that point. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah, it's tough,
Yeah,
man.
well, because you need someone to bounce off, especially with like another person always keeps you more grounded. Like sometimes you egg each other on, but a lot of times you can say, am I seeing this wrong? You know, give me another perspective, and the other person come in, sort of balance out your insanity.
Yeah, and I think the best podcasts are conversational in tone. Well, especially in our area, you don't want to feel like you're. So I've started watching or listening to a podcast on serial killers, and the hosts, it feels like they've never interacted with another human being before. So one will queue up. Oh, by the way, Sarah's not a licensed psychologist. No, I'm not, Greg. It's like they've never eaten food before. They're just robots. I'm sure there's no personality in between.
Well, they are people
like
who
never met each other before.
Yeah, they're people who are into serial killers. So you gotta worry about that to begin with. Like I'm so into serial killers, I do a podcast about them.
And they do really weird advertisement breaks as well. So they'd be talking about somebody who's strapped down to a bed for like 3 months being tortured. Well, speaking of beds, have you heard about these mattresses? Well, Greg.
Oh yeah, that's
like
fucked.
like the Alex Jones super male vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This shit'll make you into a goddamn bald eagle.
Get these tactical taint wipes.
You'll be fucking Taliban in no time. Wipe your ass with the Mexican flag. America!
I love Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah, I love that level of insanity. It's entertaining to watch, especially when he goes off on like his rants, but he's not the sort of thing that I can just sit there and watch the show with a straight face. Like, I have to watch like the excerpts from the show, like, the best of.
Yeah, there was a John Oliver, one of the late show talk hosts in America. He did a bit on Alex Jones and how he dissected him, how he goes about selling his products. Well, he gets him really riled up, really paranoid, and then he sells them like caffeine tablets.
Yeah, it's a fucking great scheme. We've got to learn how to do it for the hobby. Why do you think that you go in a heap of like local gaming stores and they're full of Red Bull? Coincidence? I think not.
Just making them super paranoid.
Cunts are there trying to paint, and they're like, their pupils are fully fucking dilated while they're trying to paint. Like, I can see the miniature when it was being fucking mind. I can see through time.
Yeah, Monster has a lot to answer for when it comes to shaky paint jobs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried painting like shit-faced drunk? I do that sometimes. I'll be there, especially when I was in the army. Maybe I'll just paint. Then you're like 2 hours later, finally like pass out in your paint desk, wake up with like a scalpel embedded in your face. And then the next morning, you go to check your miniature, and what you thought was a shit up paint job is like, yep, back in the stripping bath for you.
Yeah.
I have tried drinking during the day because I work from home. It's very easy to slip into that habit of, well, I opened a bottle of wine. I'm eating a meal now. Yeah, Cocoa Puffs and red wine complement each other. I'll just drink the first thing in the morning. But what I found was I wasn't getting drunk. I wasn't shaking. I just got really distracted very easily. Like I wasn't that motivated to paint. I was just kind of looking around my room, having a sip of wine, going out for a walk. I couldn't keep my focus. But no, I've never got blind drunk and tried to paint something.
You should if you ever come to an event where Ty and I are at, like we're pretty bad for egging each other on to drink. At the Siege of Geigenhive, we're there at like 9 o'clock in the morning with like 4 vodkas in hand for like our first fucking game, and then like halfway another 4 fucking vodkas.
Oh, holy shit. So I've listened to a few of the podcasts. That isn't hyperbole. You actually do that.
Yeah, dude.
Asked him,
yeah.
he was there.
Yeah,
Holy
like
fuck.
the bar opens at like 10 o'clock. Like at the last one at Open War, like the bar opens at 10. So basically, we start at 9. By the time I think I started my first game at 11. Like I was already like, whoa, what are we fucking doing? Hey man, where's the chair? Let's have a hug. Like fucking, I was already like ready to go. Like that was pretty good. But yeah, Macca and like especially when Macca and Ty were, they played a game. And they did a little bit of talking before the game. And, you know, it's pretty obvious that they've had a few drinks. Then they played the game, and when they came back from the game, it was like, obviously they'd been drinking during the game, so they were just like, whoa, like, crapping on. But basically, yeah, Ty was just like, hey, Macca, get the fucking mics warm. I'll go get us some drinks. And he came back with a tray, and I counted it. It was 16 vodka and lemonades. And then, so you can hear them, like, the talking, like, you can hear them in the... on the live stream thing, like you can tell that they've just like they just step up from like like pretty like yeah, we've had a few drinks to yeah, we're wasted to yeah, we're just shit faced saying just fucking insane shit. So yeah, it's no exaggeration that yeah, there's literally just trays because if the bar's not actually in the same room, they do have a bar there. You can pay extra money to have it staffed, but we usually just go just walk around to the bar. And yeah, they just give you trays. And they had buckets of beer at the last one at Open War, so you could just buy like a bucket full of ice with like a whole bunch of beer shoved in it. So there's just people with like a bucket in each hand just coming back and like, yeah, let's go, man. Time to go. Yeah, so yeah, definitely definitely a lot of drunk. I think by 10 o'clock, because everyone had been drinking from 10 o'clock, by the time it was 10 o'clock, I was looking around going like, whoa, people are just like, you know, sort of just like, okay, I'm finished my game. I'm just gonna sit here and have something to eat now. Finally, after just playing, like drinking and playing, and not actually like eating all day. Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty it's a good level of drunkenness. But I think if I run events there, in the future, I'll actually start them at midday rather than starting them in the early morning. That way we can play into the night, and people aren't just like totally slaughtered by like fucking 10 o'clock.
Yeah, because there was pretty hard on my liver, man, because I was at Geig for like a week, and I spent like, I think on the weekend alone I spent $500 on grog, and it was like $3 or $4 for a vodka.
Yeah, it was cheap. It was nice and cheap.
It's pretty bad, because like I was starting like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I was still like 1, 2 in the morning drinking with like all the fucking bouncers at the venue. The bouncers and the barmaids are coming out and drinking with me, because by that point they like got to know me. And then, like, Cat would just wander off and go drinking in town, and then he'd rock back up. Like, we'd probably I'd get to bed, and then just as, like, the sun's starting to come up and I'm just starting to sort of sober up, Cat would wander in with, like, New Zealand. So there's, like, fucking witches' hats and cinder blocks and sight signs and all this. Just starts piling up in our hotel room over the weekend. It's like, where the fuck do you go? And he's like, it's like a real cat. He goes out and finds things for his owner.
Yeah, just
you know,
runs
like
through
fucking dead animals and shit.
Yeah, just runs through the drains for a couple of 100 meters and comes out and is just like, fuck, where am I now? Oh, I don't know. I'll just start walking. Yeah, he like walked home from the city one night, like either the night before or the night of the event. Like, I'm just gonna walk home from the city. It's only a fucking casual fucking 8K walk when I'm wasted. Fucking maniac.
Yeah,
What a
man.
maniac.
Then we like go into Macca's and then get like a power feed of bacon egg muffins to get us through the next day, and then straight back into drinking and games.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So-
It's a good time. You gotta have at least one of those a year, I reckon. Like,
To the
it's just
breakfast
a,
of champions.
yeah, you gotta have one of those a year where it's just like a. It's not as much of an event. It's more of just like a piss up with gaming. Like that's basically what Open War was. You know, like Geigenhive had a bit more like we obviously put like Open War had like zero narrative. Like the only narrative was that there was a name for the subsector that was being fought over. That's all.
Yeah.
Obviously Geigenhive had a lot more of that sort of stuff. But yeah, you've got to it's good to have like a, especially if there's a lot of people in your group, in your area or in your group, you know, like people you talk to online, like some of those groups, the extended groups are pretty big. And over in Australia, you know, like we know people all around the country. So just having a big event where all the people we know and can just fly in and, you know, talk shit and drink and stuff, like that's the ideal situation, I reckon. At least once a year.
Yeah, it's nice to actually meet people face to face rather than continually talk to them online. Once you do meet them, of course, you're going to get in the piss up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, that's just a given, especially for like Cat and I. Like anyone who's ever in the military moves around so fucking much that you and your mates, you build up like a group of mates for like 3 to 6 years when you're staying like the one town, then you move to another town and sort of start over. The friends you've got. And then you move like all around the fucking country, and then you've got to get back together for events, and then it's like fucking hectic. Especially because like a heap of people, when these events usually are, is like straight after we've all been on like courses or been busy with work, and it's just the time to like, you know, for like 3 months you haven't let your hair down at all, and then it's just all got to come out at once. It's like my liver gives me like 1 free pass a year at this age, and it's like, all right, you've done a lot of damage to me in the past. So you can have like 1 drinking session where I won't like make you throw up, but that's it. 1, that's all you're getting. So like I have to like just stretch that session out over like the week by keeping constantly drunk.
Yeah.
And my body doesn't realize it's not 1 session. It's kind of like a bunch of little ones all together.
You gotta hope that
And
none of your best mates get
like, the
married
full
during
hangover
that year
set in.
too. Otherwise, like if it's more than one of your best
yeah,
mates,
fuck.
it's like, damn, I'm gonna spew at one of these now. Fuck.
I copped that this year because like one of my brothers turned 21, the other one turned 18, and it was just like fucking back to backs. I was like, you fuckers. Because
That must be expensive.
oh yeah, expensive for my liver. Because I was sore afterwards. Because like at my brother's 18th, I punched back a whole bottle of vodka as like my warm up for the night. And then all his fucking mates and all their school buddies are like, yeah, let's do fucking beer bongs, and they can't scull beer for shit. Fucking piss hand. And then I was doing the whole, you know, I'll show you how it's done, and you know, how cool am I? I'm like getting fucking heaps tanked. I was like that fucking fat dude in Beer Fest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'll just drink my way through this
Was
beer
it
instead of drowning
roadkill
in
or
it.
something like that?
Yeah, landfill.
Yeah. Landfill, that's it. And
Yeah, you know who's really good for
Fill
fucking.
too.
Yeah, you know who's really good.
It's like that.
You know who's really good for fucking, I'll show you how it's done, is Michael. Like, fucking, if there's a beer bong around, and somebody just is like, oh yeah, a little bit of it came out of my nose, or like, I don't know how to do it, Michael is like the first person to be like, fucking bring it here! Like, we built this beer bong, and it was like an awesome, it had like a tap in it, basically, so you'd load up like a whole drink, and then just like, yeah, turn the tap, like, none of this kinking bullshit, kinking's for fucking children, it's just a tap, you just like turn it.
Michael has a special talent that not many people know. I mean, heaps of people know it, but we're going to pretend like that.
Yeah.
They don't. Where he'll rock up to an event, usually like late because work's kept him or something, and it'll be like, let's say 10 o'clock at night, he finally fucking rocks up to an event. By like 10:02, he'll be exactly as drunk as you are, even though you've been drinking for like 14 hours.
Yeah.
Oh yes, catch up.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a superpower, really.
Yeah. Yeah, like he,
So the last
he did like
the
black...
last time I was that. Oops, sorry.
No, you go.
The last time I was that mortal drunk was at my wedding earlier this year. Yeah. And, when you're at your own wedding, you're not really supposed to buy yourself that many drinks. I came to see the bar bill the day after, and it was $600. I've been buying people Prosecco and Japanese whiskey, and I found out that I bought a bottle of Cristal for myself that I do not remember drinking. I can just have visions of myself on the dance floor, shaking up and popping it over people, not drinking it, any of it.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's fucking
woke
madness.
up the day after, and I couldn't get out of the bed. Yeah, my equilibrium was completely off. I'd go out of bed, I'd fall over. So I was a bit worried because I had to be out there by 10. I didn't want to pay for another day. It's all on my body. I had like a rash all over me from alcohol poisoning. So I managed to drag myself up onto the bed, shaking my new wife. Nobody sees me like this. Nobody sees me like this. I'm fucking wasted.
I can tell you a very, very fucked up story.
Yeah, well, are you telling
a few
the
people
internet?
know this.
Are we still recording, by the way?
Session.
Are we still recording? Is this part of the show?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, is this?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah,
okay.
why not?
Okay, as long as...
The last
Miles
end of the
hasn't said
year
anything.
episode, it can be a special one.
Alright.
Alright, so my first fucking night in I get to Townsville in the army. Now, Townsville, for those who don't know Australia, is like the middle of the fucking tropics. And the time of year I got there was stinking hot, stinking humid. Like the sort of weather where you turn cold on in the at the same temperature as the air is.
Yep.
So you don't bother using hot water, and you can't dry yourself with a towel because you're just sweating so fast that like the towel it's drying up as quickly as you sweat it out. So you just have a shower and get dressed straight away, pretty much. It's and so I get to Townsville, and the bar on the base is like 100 meters from where I live. So I'm 20 years old, no partner, no attachments, no debt, and a heap of money burn a hole in my pocket. So I'm like, fuck yeah, going to the boozer. So I go down to the bar, and when I get into the bar, have a few drinks, and another bloke rocks up that I knew from the last base I was at. And he's like, hey man, how are you? I got here today. I'm like, fuck man, I got here today too. And this guy's name's Gaz, by the way, so don't get that confused with any other Gazes. This guy is definitely not into the hobby. And he's like a fucking renowned pisshead too, this Gaz. And he's like, oh, there's a courtesy bus that'll take us for a ride into fucking town from the army base. We should, get on it and go to town nightclubbing. So I'm like, fuck yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we're drinking, get pretty fucking drunk, going to town, partying all night, and then we're at the cab rink waiting to come home. So I'm standing in the cab rink, big fucking monster chick, and she's just like a fucking cave troll walking up and down the cab rink. And I can see it now, and I'm just like, fuck, this thing is trying to get a free ride home. And I sort of do that thing, trying to be like polite, where you just sort of turn your back and pretend you just don't know the fucking person, don't even acknowledge that they exist. Gaz, meanwhile, is so fucking drunk and useless. He's like, yeah, get a ride with us. So we hop in this fucking cab, and him and this chick are pretty much going at it in the back of the cab. And the cabbie and I are just like, this is fuck. One down the window so we don't have to smell anything. And we get all the way back to the army base. And I'm like, fuck, where do we live? And Gaz's like, oh shit, it's this address. And she's like, yep, take the third right, follow that for about 1 kilometer, then on your fourth left. Do you take that? I'm like, oh dude, do not do this. Do not do this. And Gaz is like, nah man, fucking it's a sure thing. So we get back to where we live. I'm on like the bottom floor, and Gaz lives like a couple stories upstairs. So we get to our thing, and I just straight away, I just fuck off inside my room, close the door, and we have like those Venetian blinds, whatever, the horizontal blinds. I close those and I like lay down the bed, and I'm so fucking drunk, I'm just like holding onto the bed, onto each side of the bed, so I don't fall off, because like I've just lost all equilibrium. And I'm like, this is fucked. And about 5 minutes go by, if that, and I hear this bang, 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 bang on my fucking window. And I go and I open up the blinds, and here's this big fucking cave. Your mate fucking spewed on me. I'm like, okay. And I just close the fucking blinds and walk back to bed. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, you know, a bit of a funny night, story's over. No. Next morning, a fucking bunch of other mates also rocked up to the base, knock on my door. Hey, Macca, I heard you got here. What happened last night? And I'm like, oh, got shitters in town. They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, he's upstairs. So I go up to his room and open up the door, and this smell hits us like a punch to the fucking face. We're like, what the fuck is this? Like, we're awake, dry region. I'm like still drunk, so I'm really suffering from this smell. And we walk into his room, no aircon on, stinking hot. It's like 30-something degrees, 90-something%. The room just reeks of shit. And we're like, fuck, oh, Gaz spewed on this fat chick. That's what it would have been. And like this, because I mean, I don't mind calling her a fat chick. This chick had no self-respect. And
it's not like she listens to the show either.
And that's true. Well, maybe. Who knows?
No, probably not. Don't think she was an avid hobbyist. And here's Gaz, like passed out in the bed, and he's just like red from sweat, because he's just like in this room, and he's had the doors just locked all night, so the steam and the funk. Yep. Turns out this chick was so pissed off at him for spewing on it, she took a shit on him as revenge. Straight on his chest. And he'd been rolling around in it all fucking night in this fat chick's shit.
What? Holy fuck. That's so fucking gnarly.
And we're in like this, we're in like this horrible fucking situation now where we're like fucking laughing and almost puking at the same time. Like one of the guys has gone for a puke off the balcony. I'm like dry reaching on the floor. And Gaz like wakes up, sees he's been shit on, and just starts spilling all over himself.
Oh my god.
Oh Christ, I can taste that story.
Oh, Christ almighty.
Oh.
And it was in Townsville too,
really.
right? Yeah. So it was in Townsville where it's just hot as fuck.
Very first night in Townsville.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Holy fuck. So, the Horus Heresy, eh?
Yeah. How's that Horus Heresy going?
We should just we should shout out Lil Legend Studios as well, Miles, while you're on. Like, check them out on Instagram. What's your Instagram? Is it at Lil Legend Studios?
Yeah, it's something like that. If you just type Lil Legend Studio,
yeah,
you should be able to find me. There's a blogger, Twitter, all that nonsense. And if you want to get better at painting, I run with video tutorials and one-to-one teaching sessions delivered online.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, definitely.
Michael,
we'll put a link down in the show notes as well if we can.
Oh, thank you very much.
Awesome. Spencer and I still talk about we talk about your Blood Angels fucking Praetors. You've done a whole bunch of just like totally fucking loco Blood Angels work.
Yeah, Blood Angels are my thing.
Yeah.
Really love Blood Angels. I have a personal Blood Angel collection. I've just finished off the Thunderhawk yesterday. Just magnetized all the shit.
Oh, sweet.
Looking forward to painting that in the new year now.
Yeah. You've also got like a
Blood Angels are
Leviathan.
one of those legions that's not getting a lot of love yet.
No, they're a bit of an unusual one because they are very I don't know how to put this, like a very fantasy-esque legion, or they can be, because most of the parts we have for them are 40k parts, which might not translate over that well to 30k with how ornate and ostentatious the armor plate can be. If you go for a slightly more neutralized Blood Angel look, well, it doesn't really set itself apart. It doesn't make itself unique. It just looks like a Mark IV Marine with a Blood Angel symbol on there. So I think we are all waiting for Angelus to come out to see special units, more the color plates behind them. But now, really, I think now is the perfect time to jump into Blood Angels and start painting vast swathes of assault squads, just to get yourself set up for the Primarch. But
there's definitely a thing with... Yeah, I was going to say, there's definitely a bit of a thing I've noticed with Forge World. Call it a conspiracy, if you will. It's not like a negative thing, but they sort of favour a legion at a time with each release. So, like, when they did Book 1, probably Death Guard, pretty heavily favoured, just because they just got all their kits, decals, the works pretty quickly. Maybe you could make an argument for World Eaters.
So the decal set, that I believe, I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, but one of the graphic designers, Paul Rudge, he's a massive Death Guard fan. If you look in the new book, they've actually used his miniatures for some of the samples, the examples used to demonstrate scenarios. But I think it is very much led by enthusiasm within the team. So because they had Paul Rudge, an avid Death Guard fan, somebody who printed up his own decal sheet, they decided to put that into production. So the models would lead on from there because of the enthusiasm internally within the team.
Yeah, see, there you go. Because it's the same thing again with like book 2. It was Iron Hands, massive Iron Hands push it with book 2, where it was like, here's Medusa and Immortals, Gorgon Terminators, Ferrus Manus himself. It was like all there at once. Book 3 was probably Imperial Fist, because they got all their shit at once, just all the love. Then you've like book 5, the Ultramarines, for sure. I mean, they got all their specialist units, torsos, helmets, shoulder pads, the works. I'd say probably the Thousand Suns with book 7. And I'm going to go out and state for the record, book 8, Dark Angels are going to get shit on, and Blood Angels are going to get all the love. Dark Angels, they're going to get like one unit maybe with release of the book. I'm just going to get like everything.
Yeah,
Sanguinius will drop. And
that's good though. You've got to shit on Dark Angels players as often as possible, just to like, especially if you're a loyalist, you've always got to be like questioning their loyalty at all times, like in real life, like just as part of role playing for their army, just so they really feel like, fuck, we're the best though. We're in the first Legion. We're the best. Why does everyone hate us?
What causes more tears though, Tim? The blade of salty tears from the Blood Angels, or nucleic acid rounds shooting xenomorph blood from the Dark Angels?
That is pretty tough. Yeah, you're right. Fucking people do go hard on the heavy bolters. Yeah.
It has to be Dark Angels. You can put those things on jet bikes, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a dude. This is the only army that ever came close to beating Custodes, because I was playing Custode forces to do the Is It Ship reviews. So it's like, you can't do a review on something if you don't have any idea how it fucking works, which is why every armchair general out there likes to tell me Thousand Suns are fucked without having used them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing Dark Angels, and on jet bikes, I had an all-foot Custode force. So his jet bikes would just like turbo boost 24 inches, shoot straight over the top of the car, turn around like the next turn, and just hose me down for like the next 2 turns with acid rounds, and then he'd like turbo boost 24 inches the other side of them, just to constantly keep me sort of away from him, so he wasn't getting chopped in combat. So yeah, that's pretty. I think you put it on rapiers, and you can put it on dreadnoughts as well. So pretty fucking brutal.
You could have 3 or 4 different options with the nucleic acid rounds, but there's only really, well, you can only ever have 3 dudes with those blades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and but still, those blades, they bite deep into the tear ducts.
Yeah, they are horrific if you use them rules as written.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I don't know, like, part of me is like, oh yeah, that's fucking obviously not meant to be that way, blah blah blah, but every time someone uses it, I just let them play it the Maniac way, because I'm like, fucking Blood Angels should be fucking, like, just total murderers, like, their Praetors should be fucking just, like, ultimate destroyers. If you read, like, their fluff and shit, like, their gene seed is, like, mega strong, you know, like, they're fucking just, like, next level fucking pro-murderers, so I always just let people play, play it the tough way, yeah. Even if, like, even if the double wounds thing is just, like, a totally fucking crazy mechanic, like, you know, there's only a couple of ways to make a unit really good, you know. You can make them, like, hit with fucking super strong shit, or you can make them just, like, you know, do extra wounds or something like that, or you can make them, you know, like, the Snippy Claw is really good, because it's, like, 4+, take extra wounds, you know, you've got to give something the next level, you've got to give it some extra special bullshit rule, and that's, like, you know, that one suits the Blood Angels, I guess, like, being up to
it's
fucking...
just a shame, though, that some of the bullshit rules just are pathetic. Like, Medusa and Immortals, one of those ones that come to mind, and Gorgon Terminator. In fact, Iron Hands in general have a lot of really bizarre rules. Like, oh, when an enemy flees from you, instead of just running the fucking unit down, you can shoot them in the back.
You can snapshot them. And you can only snapshot too. You can't shoot normal shooting. If you could do normal shooting, it'd be fucking so amazing. It'd be like full, like, Saving Private Ryan style shit. But Yeah, the fact that it's like that it's just snapshots and shit. But the thing is, like that the fact that they have sort of mediocre rules, like obviously I think Gorgons are shit. I've been told by Nicholas up in Sweden that they're fucking really awesome. He runs them like all the time. And he says that they're really good, but you know, like in either case, like it, you know, it all evens out their mediocre parts of their units because their Legion Astarte rule, neg1 strength from shooting, is so fucking good. If you gave them like, if you made them Medusa Immortals Fearless or something, it'd just fucking, that would just be like totally out of control, I reckon.
Well, it's funny because like I have people tell me that World Eaters are shit. And it's like,
Yeah, what?
have they never faced down like 3 Spartans with 20 man squads of World Eaters with apothecaries in them?
You don't even need 3.
One of the most terrifying fucking prospects.
You don't even need 3. You only need
20-man
Spartan.
combat blobs.
Yeah. You only need 1 Spartan with 20 man and some character in it, and like the rest of the dudes just running on foot. The fact that your Spartan is just like, this will fucking destroy anything it fucking crushes into. Like, well, almost anything it crushes into. That's just so fucking threatening that the rest of you. Every time I've seen them play it or I've played against them, like it's. You really have to bring some overwhelming like template fucking or mass. You have to bring something strong to really like to stop them in their tracks.
You got to have a plan. You got to have a plan to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like people who say, "Oh, World Eaters are a pushover." Chances are, the World Eaters player was not trying
or maybe it was
too hard.
Maybe
like
it was Ty.
They were all on foot, or maybe they were using land raiders.
Maybe it was Ty.
Maybe
it was Ty.
You know. Yeah, maybe it was Ty. You know, that's a handicap. But you know. Anything can be strong, played wisely, I think is the point I'm getting at. So, and like, it's down to the player as well. Like, the Blade of Salty Tears can be brutal, but it's like, I run Thousand Suns. I can be very fucking brutal, yet I've never had a complaint about anyone who's played my army. Like, Tim, you've played my army a few times.
Yeah.
What do you think about playing me? Like,
yeah, it's good. Well, the thing I like about your army is that basically you were running, like, Centurion before anyone was running Centurion. Like, you were running, like, all infantry, like in 1500 points you just had all infantry and walkers, right? Like you didn't have any tanks, and then you sort of
one contemptor.
Yeah, and then in 2500 you added what, laser destroyers and another dread or something like that. So you know, like that seeing your army like as a big fucking just like infantry fucking force just getting shit done, and like a few other armies and things like that. And then second, there were some of the inspirations for the Centurion mode was like getting like bulk infantry on the table, and it was sort of like we also leveraged off the fact that like new people getting into the game, a lot of these new people had just bought a Calth box, painted everything in there, and then they were coming up against fucking veteran players who had like Typhons and fucking Achilles and shit, and just like, okay, another fly caught in the web, like. So yeah, that's basically one of the reasons, and it was to sort of give, you know, mix it up for the veteran players who've been playing 2500 plus unrestricted craziness and shit, mix it up for them, and then also sort of make it like a sort of set a new level for these newer players who are coming in with just their mass infantry in it. So, you know, like the playing against you, I've only played. Oh, I think I played against your old fucking army like once at an event, and then I've played against you. Oh, when Spence and I played against you, and Adrian. Not the time that we played against Michael and I played against you and a magician.
Yeah, yeah, he conjured up some butthurt for Michael.
Yeah, I can't trust that dude's fucking rolls. If he's a fucking magician who can literally be like, hey, what's that behind your ear? Oh, it's a coin. Oh no, it's like he can just easily be like, I'm rolling these dice, or am I? Oh, all 6s, crazy. Like, I can't trust that he's not just fucking like, if you play against a magician, there should be some fucking caveat in the rules that someone else has to roll your dice, and the magician isn't allowed anywhere near it. Because like you could fucking, have you ever watched that like?
That would be true if he didn't roll like ones continuously throughout the game, except for that one time he just fucked Michael over.
Yeah, but maybe you were already winning anyway, and he's just he's what's it called? He's just submarining, just like, oh yeah, no, my rolls are shit. Ask those guys. I rolled all those ones, or did I? Maybe he was rolling lots of 6s and he was changing them to 1s, or he's just changing them to just what he needed. So it wasn't like fucking over the top, oh, they're all 6s. It was just like, just what I need to exterminate this squad exactly.
That was a really funny tournament, because when we had it, because it was doubles games, we took the approach that instead of trying to build 2 separate armies, like a lot of people were, where people were going like, all right, I've got 2,000 points to play with. What can I make as an army? We took the 4,000 points. What can we make as an army? So I took like the beat stick half of it, which is like per Rabo and a fuck ton of Terminators,
Just
basically.
a teleporting wing of the army, yeah.
Which in a regular 2,000 point game is fucking beyond cheese, right? That's like fucking Matt Ward levels of cheese, lactose intolerance, people just fucking fainting at the side of it. But when the other 2,000 points of your army is basically just tactical squads and a couple of Contemptor Dreadnoughts,
And rapiers, yeah.
then it balances out quite heavily. And that was sort of the deal. We didn't even have rapiers, I don't... Oh, no,
Yeah,
we didn't. We
yeah,
didn't use
Adrian had
rapiers
some
that game.
rapiers. Yeah. He had some,
Oh, yeah.
what the fuck?
I'm talking about the wizard when the magician and I played.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry,
Where,
not
like,
Adrian. Yeah, the magician had some rapiers. Because I remember just like shooting
Oh,
shit at
yeah,
him, going
yep,
like,
yep.
"Why won't you fucking die?" Yeah.
I'm with you. And yeah, so it was like, and that's the approach we took. So like, where people would look at my army and be like, "Holy fuck!" But it was like it made sense for us to pull all the strong units under one player, because then that one player can just focus on doing that job. Whereas his job was like, you've got all like the infantry units, like all the tac squads and the tac support squads. It's like you need to focus on the objective play. And by doing that, it made it really effective as a team. Because the big problem that we've had in the past is like you go to a tournament, each player tries to like basically follow the force org chart to a team. And they're like got their own special snowflake units and their own scoring units, and then they're sort of walking from one side of the table to the other, trying to manage it all. It just easier this way, but a lot of people sort of didn't see it that way. They were like, "Oh man, that army's so cheesy." Okay, whatever. Just ignore one whole half of the table, and you're perfectly right.
Yeah.
Because like you and Michael, you had an equally strong army, because that game was pretty tight.
Yeah, we had a
It was
equally
just
strong
we were
army,
able
except
to
700.
zone early on.
Well, 700 points of my shit didn't come on. Like my Archmagos, a whole unit of Myrmidons in a fucking Macca arrow that was like 300 points on its own, like just didn't come on until turn 4. So it was just like, fuck, I just can't, like, it was a total pain in the ass. But yeah, that's alright. Like the main thing about that event is that Michael and I crushed the Loaded Dice podcast, and just showed that we're the better
Hashtag
podcast.
relationship goals.
Yeah, just showed that we're the better podcast. That's the same one where Morgan and Kogan took like that fucking army that was like, what, like 3 flare shielded. It was like 11 flare shielded vehicles or something in 2,000 points, something like that. Kogan had 3 Spartans.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cheese.
And then Morgan's entire army was just mounted in vehicles, or was like a Krios tank.
And Krios battle tanks. What do you have, like 7 Krios or something, like between Venators and
Yeah, he had a
regular
lot.
ones?
He had a lot. They're really good. That's why I partnered with him when we played the Brothers Revenge series. I was just like, "Hey Morgan, you can take all your tanks." He's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Okay, let's partner up." I'll just send my thralls forward, and then you can just like shoot everything in their army off the table. And we're like, "Okay, let's do it." It's fucking savage as fuck. Yeah, Krios are harsh as fuck, man. Like that's something you could definitely like add some points onto. Like for 150 points for a Venator, that's fucking madness. They should be 200 points. Like in from the side, they're
When
an
you
AP12
compare it to
or
like
whatever.
a Sycoran or a Predator,
Oh
it's,
yeah. They're lightly armored on the side and rear. So, but like to tell you how good they are, I
no
painted
more
up.
so than a Predator though.
Yeah. Well, I painted one up.
Predator's only armor 11-10. They're 11-10, aren't they?
They're
Or are they
13, 12, 13, 10, 13, 11, 10 maybe? I'd have to fucking look it up.
Yeah. So pretty much a Predator, but with a way better fucking armament.
Yeah, fast and yeah, exactly. But yeah, I painted one up. I used it like in tons of games, and I was just like, fuck, man. Like if I brought a second one of these, I would just be like, it'd feel like you're a total fucking maniac. And that's the thing, like, I like to skirt the edge of like something being really good, and so 40k is not a complicated game. Like if it's like if everything's a mystery to you, then that's fucking crazy. If 7th Ed is a mystery, if you're just like, oh, I don't get half the rules, like, then that's crazy, because it's not like super complicated. Go play like fantasy. Go play like, you know, any other fucking decent sized game, right? It's not a super complicated game. Like, the way that you fucking win most of your games is you take a list that it doesn't have to be like necessarily like glass cannon, or it's not necessarily like all pushed in one direction. The way that if you want to win most of your games on average is you take a really well balanced army, one that's reliable. So like a unit being strong, that's cool. If a unit's reliable, I think that's better. Obviously, like, the where you make a really good army is the units that are strong and reliable and also fucking cheap. So, you know, that's the key to victory, right?
My favorite. Yeah, well, my favorite thing with list building is it's a simple approach, and it's what I call threat saturation, which is as long as I make each unit basically equally viable to some capacity, the other guy is never going to really know what to focus down. And you can very easily do that with like 30. You can have lots of shit which all has its play, and the other guy's sort of like, yeah, I don't know what to shoot, and they often just, every game just about, there's at least one turn where the other guy just sits there opposite me, just like, they just don't make up their mind about what they're going to do. They're just sort of waiting, paused, because like, okay, there's graviton cannons there, they're going to fuck my vehicles, so I need to deal with those, but there's terminators over there, I've got to deal with those. Oh, but you know, I have a flyer come on, so I need to get my anti-air into a position. So like, there's all these things that they've got to worry about, and that's all 40k is.
Yeah, I really like making lists that internally make balance, internally balanced and internally make sense. So I really like using destroyers in my because the +1 to wound is fucking fantastic with those guys. I know you can only get 10, but you can also put a Moritat in with there with the double, the double Inferno pistols, which is an absolute. He'll wipe out half an army 1 out of 5 games. In the other 4, he won't do a thing. He'll just get blown off the table.
Yeah.
But those aren't units you really see that much anymore. Destroyers and Moritats. But within a assault pack, within an assault jump army, I think internally it makes sense. And Blood Angels being the assault legion. So I always try and theme a force around a either miniature or a of miniatures, the background, and just reflect how I enjoy playing. So it's very glass cannon, the Blood Angel force that I do play, but that's how I like to play, win big or lose big.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. In fact, destroyers are probably my number one unit for the legions that needs a points discount.
Yeah,
they're about 100 points overcosted when they're fully upgraded. Like when you're paying like 450 points for rad missile launchers and jump packs, essentially. Like not even worry about Phosphex bombs. Mm-hmm. It's like you're paying like 450 points for that unit. That's bullshit. That's the price of like nearly 4 tactical squads of 10 models each. That's fucking insane amounts of points for what's basically very short-range unit and will get shot off the board the turn it arrives.
Yeah, but a veteran player will know how to use it. Like I know, like Dom.
Dude, I never lost a game using them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As soon as like the veteran players that know how to use them, fucking, it's really like, sometimes you'll just play against someone who knows how to use that unit, and you're like, holy fuck, like what am I gonna do now? Like they're cutting my throat.
Such a pain in the neck, and it does catch.
They're my distraction card effects. So I know that when those models come down, I now have a turn where the other guy is fucked because he's like, well, I have to deal with that.
The Leviathan's mine. The Leviathan's mine. Have you seen my Blood Angel Leviathan? I've done.
Yeah.
I painted like a fresco on the front of it. I've made it as big and as impressive as I possibly can to A, take all the firepower in the army away from my assault units, and B, to make my opponent feel guilty for destroying it.
How can you destroy something so beautiful?
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to destroy it. It looks nice.
Yeah,
with my Raven Guard, I had Strike Captain Alvarex Maln, and it was like I drop all my fucking units within 4 inches of him, no scatter. So it was like 2 precision fucking deep strikes of destroyers. And I was like, okay, have some Phosphex bombs, have some rad missiles, and I'd use them smart. Like one of the first ways I discovered early on when Castellax were like being used by every Mechanicum player. I was going to call him an evil name, but I would use them by like try and use the 2 destroyer squads to shoot different Castellax squads in the sides. Because what would happen is you'd start dropping the toughness of the squad. When the average toughness toughness starts coming down, then the rest of your army, those bolt guns suddenly aren't so weak. The other thing was, like, I fucked up Angron with them once. Angron comes charging. But it's like, oh, you only get, like a fucking 5-up invul against these or something. So I just sprayed him full of fucking rad missiles. And he gets to, by the time he got to me, he has like 3 wounds left, toughness 2 or 3.
Yeah. You reckon they're worth
So
it? Like, they're so expensive. They're like, what are they, 25 points each?
In Raven Guard, yeah, they're 400 points for a 10-man squad with 2 rad missile launchers and jump packs.
400.
It's yeah, over 400 actually.
Yeah. I don't know. I would always just go plasma pistols, just because it's like cheaper, and you can shoot some termies. You can take what?
And you can only take a couple in the
squad.
squad.
You can take 2. Yeah, like rad missile launchers. It sucks that the sergeant in the destroyer squad can't take a plasma pistol too. That'd be the ultimate. You give him like a plasma pistol and a serpenta, and then he's like a mini Maratat. Just try out, just practicing, man. Just one day I'll fucking get to be a true Maratat. And then 2 other dudes with plasma pistols, and then a Maratat with like plasma pistols. Just like, what up, fuckers? We're all fucking tooled. Like, that's the kind of unit, if you're going up against fucking other Legionnaires, or going up against Terminators, or whatever the fuck you're gonna have, like, your prey is, as if you wouldn't be like, why don't we just all take plasma pistols? That's a cool idea. Alright.
But this is one of those things where, like, you've got to play it on a unit by Legion basis. Because, like, in Raven Guard, destroyers are ridiculously strong because they've got Furious Charge, they get all the bonuses of, like, because you've got a lot of Deep Strike centric, where they have bonuses, like Elverax Maln has that 24-inch no scatter deep. Well, that's a huge thing in 30k. Like, unless you're going to devote space to a what do they call it, the Deimos Rhino, the command one, the Damocles. Unless you're like devoting space to that thing, you're not going to have reliable deep strikes.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing in 30k unless you're using like drop pods.
Nuncio Voxes, but they're really short range.
So having a character who you can and having an army where you infiltrate your whole army with my Raven Guard is just infiltrate like 3,000 points into 1/4 of the table, and once the other guy just like realize that he's deployed half his shit on the other side of the board and he can't bring it down on you. Like that was always a personal favorite of mine, because they set up the heavy weapon squads and stuff like that, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rape you, and then it's like, okay, well, all my shit's in reserve. It's like, all right, now it's infiltration step, so I'm deploy it all over here, and then you deploy like a 5-man plasma cannon squad with like a perfect line of sight to his squad that's deployed behind an Aegis line that they now can't use.
Yeah. Oh, it'd suck if I seized the initiative now,
So,
wouldn't it?
Some legions. Yeah. and that happens too, so. But yeah, I was going to say earlier, because I'll move this along. So I released that video about the Battle Companies book, which costs like $70, and it's like Mordheim, pretty much identical to one. I have like an ongoing feud with like Mr. Bean and the 3-wheeled car. Is me and Lord of the Rings players / Hobbit players, because I release a video that's like insightful, or in my opinion, where I'm like, look, here's all the pros and cons of this, and here's a book that's pretty much identical, and I'm going to compare the two. You know what some of the comments I got from Lord of the Rings players were in that on like Facebook? They're like, you can't compare books from 2 different time periods.
What?
The fuck does that even mean? Like, imagine if it's a movie. Well, you can't compare The Last Jedi to Empire Strikes Back. They're from different time periods.
What?
You know? Or
is it
you
the same
can't
rule
compare
set there?
Twilight. Is
it
pretty much. They're pretty much identical. Like, all the same sort of skills, but the difference is in like, instead of building your warband by like picking the models and paying the pricing like currency, in-game currency that you purchase from loot boxes, the models are pre-selected for you in the Lord of the Rings one. So you start with like just basically bog standard soldiers, and as you progress through the games, you roll, and they can like turn into better models and up their stats that way. One
might turn into
a little
Frodo.
bit different. No, they won't turn into named characters. They'll always be like, you'll get some cool shit though. But like, that was one of my things, was like, narratively it was a bit of a shame that like there was no like named characters, there's no hired swords, any of that. It's basically you get a list, and then you're stuck with that list. It's pretty much down to the luck of the dice what you're going to get progression wise, which is a bit of a shame, because one of the things that was always great about Mordheim was you had like this massive, and Necromunda as well. You had this massive list of war gear you could purchase, and you could say, oh, you know, I want to fucking get a hired sword for this game. You know, like I want to get that Elven Archer because it'll give me the shooting edge that I otherwise lack. Yeah, you don't get that with the War.
Yeah, that's fucking
game.
Yeah,
and people are like, oh, well, nah, man, there's no problems with it. It's unfair to compare it to Mordheim. Even though I did like a page-by-page comparison where I'm like, look, these things are exactly the same. That wasn't good enough. So I can just see me butting heads eternally with Lord of the Rings players. And it's a shame because I really fucking love the game. The community. So it's kind of like the federal government with like the pensions office or something. Where it's like they take it personal, like it's their money or something that you're asking for.
Yeah.
And it's like, pick on the Hobbit game. Yeah, okay, it's flawed, but you're not allowed to point though when you review something. But no, reviews have to be positive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Oh, sorry, Hobbit players,
seemed
but
retarded to me.
yeah. Well, that's the thing though. If you are fucking playing the game, then I mean you're a part of the community, right? Or the other thing you can do is start your own community, like we did with 30k. You know, like we just started our own group. Like we didn't like necessarily the other group, so we just started our own group. Like you've got a group on Facebook as well. Like you're admin in a few groups. You know, like you just create your own group for like-minded people. So if you're a like-minded Hobbit player who likes critically thinking about the rules instead of just whatever. I had never
Sounds
seen
like a
much.
personals ad. If you're a like-minded Hobbit player who likes pina coladas and long walks on the beach,
You can dial 113-345.
I do too.
Yeah, I thought there was no like. I thought
no
there was
gay stuff. I promise.
Yeah, I thought there was no hobbitry shit going on here at all. Like I was just like, nah, there's no fucking Hobbit fucking shit being played here. But Michael and I went up to Magic Vault the other week, and there was a Hobbit event going on, and they had like, they were playing on 4x4s, and they had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They must have had like at least 8 tables, and they were playing like a whole bunch of games. There's nobody had like one of those fucking giant elephant things though, but there was like some cool looking armies, treemen, and like fucking dwarf armies look pretty cool. Like a few Nazgul armies and stuff. I couldn't tell you who they people were, or I didn't recognize anyone that I saw. But like, yeah, there's definitely like a hobby. There's definitely a Hobbit scene. It's not called Hobbit, is it? Lord of the Rings. There's definitely a Lotar scene in Brisbane. So kudos to you guys if you're people who are actually playing that game, because I was just like, surely no one plays it. Like, you'd walk into the store, you'd never see anyone buying anything, you'd never see anyone talking about it online, like, and all the people that we've known for years and years and years, like, no one's ever just gone, hey, yeah, I'm gonna play the Hobbit.
Yeah, no, it's actually a pretty enjoyable game, but it's, I found there was problems with the book, because I said
Michael John from the Mourneville, he plays, shout out to Michael John.
If you're gonna compare something, there you go, but it's like, when you compare something, you can't compare it in a vacuum. Because then you wouldn't be comparing squat. You'd just be, looking at something in the vacuum. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to put into words the frustration of trying to say to people, like, look, if they made a product, like one of the things I said was, well, who cares if it hasn't got artwork or fluff in the book? It's like, if you go get inspired, why don't you just read the Lord of the Rings book? It's like, you're right. When I'm sitting there flipping through a magazine, I want to put it down and go pick up something else.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. So there's no art at all? Maybe they're not allowed to commission any art or something.
No,
due to their,
it's full of stock promotional images.
It's for like movie stills.
Ah,
yeah,
they're
and
probably
that's in the latest book.
Yeah, they're probably not allowed to have an artist draw a fucking cool Ringwraith picture due to their legal terms and shit, right?
But they have done it before. There's a ton of stock art from like art that they've done. Because they've been making Lord of the Rings books since 2001.
Yeah, they're probably gonna pay for it.
Pull up a fucking few from that, or from those, and just slap it in a couple of extra pages. It won't kill you.
Yeah,
or even write your own, like to at least establish the fucking setting. Because there's not even a preface that like establishes the setting. Like, you are fighting in Arnor, warbands from around Middle Earth are journeying. No, it's just like, all right, page 1.
Movement phase.
Yeah, it's like if you took all of the it basically took everything but the bare essentials out of Necromunda. And the other thing is, it's an main game, so you need to have the Lord of the Rings main rulebook, the Hobbit main rulebook, in order to actually play it in the fucking first place. That's like all the stats of the units, all the rules, that kind of a thing. So I think that's a bit rude.
Do they still sell that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They recently redid it at Forge World. In fact, I was looking at them recently. They sell them at Forge World and Games Workshop, and the good oldest force, because, well, for example, the Escape from Goblin Town on Forge World is £75, which is about 130 Australian dollars. It's actually a little cheaper than that. It's like $129.75, but you know, cents don't count. So, and that comes with like rules and miniatures and all that. And the exact same kit sold by Games Workshop is 205 Australian dollars.
What?
Whoa.
So I could buy it, pay the 15% shipping, get it over here, and still save like $60.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is something I'm glad I don't have to partake in the Australian tax.
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. And they wonder why I drink.
Thermal scans show attack dogs in your area.
What does it feel to talk about feminism on the internet? It feels like that.